I did not plan this video, but it is by far the most important one I've made.
In the end, they found themselves headed in, nowhere to go. Bale tries to switch the play. And the shot!
You see, I switched to full manual passing and quickly found out that I have wasted the last several years afraid to learn it, especially using the broadcast camera angle. But by God has it completely transformed the game.
Marcelo floats one over, and the finish! They've scored!
And if I can learn it over one day using this angle against Superstar, then so can you.
Man, I had a feeling he might do something, given his reputation.
The feeling of being able to pass wherever I want, with whatever force I wanted, just made the game look and play more realistically.
Over to the other flank.
I can now push the ball into a space and have my players move into that space the way it happens in real life, instead of being restricted to passing the ball into the path of a player the way the assisted passing works. Like here, Marcelo manually passes the ball behind two players for Modric to pick up. In this play, Hazard is sandwiched between two defenders, and the only way to deliver the ball to him is to manually push it far enough for him to use his speed and make up the space. These plays are simply not possible with an assisted through pass, which arrives at the player's feet a lot earlier, slowing him down. Like now, Hazard will have to dribble his way past the defenders. So instead of the regular assisted passing, which is unnaturally robotic, perfectly landing to standing players' feet, you now have all these small animations of players strafing towards the ball passed close to them. And it upgraded the way the game felt and looked in every possible way.
He's through. Cross! And that is
Just not getting too tight. Yeah, they know that if they step up, their keeper could get...
Being able to distribute the ball to players you couldn't reach before, like Isco here, gives the game a much fresher sense of randomness.
Has a hit! Trustmark comes to the rescue.
And because the animation engine needs to accommodate passing in all those directions, you get smoother animations that makes the game way more fluid. As a matter of fact, it was one of the comments on my Realism review video about the improved animations with manual control which sold me on this transition in the first place. Manual passing transformed build-up play into a completely different experience, where my through passes are as tight as I want them. Like here, where my manually placed through pass closer to the defender puts my striker at a better angle when facing the goal, as opposed to where an assisted through pass would have put me. In this one, Isco's tighter through pass close to the defender made Hazard able to continue his run to the goal without having to turn. It's even clearer in this example, where a standard assisted through pass would be away from the defender along the sideline, leaving Asensio with two defenders to beat. But now I can actually play it behind the defender, where Asensio has an open path en route to goal.
And now the breakaway. Look, and the shot! In it goes!
This completely removed the frustration of the assisted through pass that seemed to be as accurate as the script wanted it to be. Back to manual passing, the only reason Benzema here ends up ahead of the last defender is because Bale's through pass was further away from Benzema, giving him room to push forward with his run without being slowed down by the ball, which he would have received earlier with a standard assisted through pass. Manual passing just grants you flexibility to create more chances, like here where a through pass would have been blocked, unlike a manual pass placed away from the defender. In this play, I easily pull off a manual 1-2 pass, but when I want to do it again, there's a player blocking the pass, making it impossible if I were using the standard assisted pass. So I simply place it slightly behind the defender, as I would in real life, and Bale moves to it before passing it back to me. This flexibility is now afforded anytime and anywhere, and it just looks so good.
Field, changing the point of attack.
Your player's flexibility influences which directions he can accurately hit from his current position.
Bale!
For example, Varane can't twist enough for a powerful left-footed drive down the line. Another thing I noticed is that when you're using the standard assisted pass, you can't intentionally place the ball towards your own half. You can either pass to the player's feet or in front of him towards the other half, which gives gameplay an artificial look and feel. But sometimes you do need to pass behind the player, like here where a standard pass would have been blocked, so I have to pass back to have more room. Standard assisted passing corrects your direction and power to where the engine thinks you want to pass. Like here, I actually want to send the ball to Lingard, who is actually open, but the engine decided that Kane was a better target. With manual passing, I no longer have to worry about that. Like here, I feel Bale is in a better position than Kroos, so I power my pass accordingly and it just goes right to him. In this example, Bale is running towards the sideline, which is where an assisted through pass would have been directed, while an assisted normal pass would have been blocked. But I decide to place a manual pass down the middle, and now Bale's in a threatening position.
Bale! Goal!
Standard assisted passing blunts down your player's power bar to fix it, so you can end up with even less range, compared to manual passing, where what you put into the power bar is what he'll get.
Forward it goes.
And thank goodness for this accurate power interpretation, otherwise this would have been a lovely own goal.
Clearly they're trying to show strength to what the opposition...
You'll also avoid your passes being more powerful than intended. In this example, Diaz's precise light manual flick gives Hazard the chance to take control of the ball early and move through the center directly en route to goal.
Has a pop!
Laying the ball down to a second striker off a long pass into the opponent's half was one of the realistic tactics that I missed before switching to manual, with even more potential for goal-scoring opportunities.
Battle there, terrific to watch. Struck first time.
And these long passes are by far the best improvement with manual passing.
Now it's Bale.
I can now cover bigger distances and move play deeper into the opponent's half.
Over to the other flank.
This translates into faster play in a realistic way, with more chance creation.
He gets past his man. Real chance!
It also makes the game much less frustrating and more exciting experience, where every problem is actually my own fault, not the game engine's.
Benzema. Hits one.
Because even after I became good at manual passing, the errors I made were more natural.
Balls to Vinicius Junior.
Like here, I wanted to head the ball down to Benzema, but I get it slightly to the right and it lands at a defender. That's a natural error, compared to the unnatural, frustrating ones that happen with assisted passing.
Sterling tries to...
That said, expect plenty of faults when you start embarking on this journey towards perfecting manual passing. You'll have issues with ball power and direction everywhere on the pitch, especially keeper throws, which are frustrating because you don't typically think much about them. But even after I thought I was happy with my long drive and layoffs, pulling off a manual lofted cross into the box seems to have the longest learning curve.
How's that for composure, Peter? You can see the keeper tried to put as much...
It doesn't matter if there's no pressure and the circumstances are perfect.
Not in the slightest.
Manual crossing remained to be my biggest challenge, especially since I play exclusively with this very skewed broadcast camera.
Whipped in.
But even with a high and very playable view like the Metropolitano, I still can't seem to get it right.
Now, Marcelo goes for the cross.
It's not only the direction that needs to be right, but if you hit it too hard, the ball will fly over your striker's head.
Kroos with the cross.
It's actually such a shame, given I loved scoring using the assisted lofted cross, which is another fan's advice in a comment that I took to heart. So be sure to leave a comment behind because I read everything.
Gets up to head it.
Eventually, I started getting both the power and direction right, and I even had the ball graze Benzema's head. I'm getting closer to scoring from a cross, so be sure to follow me on Twitter as I'm sure I'll tweet it when it happens. And maybe one day, my manual cross will conveniently land behind my player who'll perform an epic bicycle kick into the net. But not today. But you know what surprised me the most in my transition to manual? The superstar AI seemed to have switched to manual passing like I did. I swear you'll feel it almost immediately. Once I switched to manual, I saw them perform the same wonky passes, making a different kind of passing accuracy that they didn't used to make, They looked awfully similar to the ones I made with manual passing, including my crosses that often missed their target. The AI's passing was no longer on rails, the way it looked with standard supported passing, where they moved the ball from one standing player to the other in a very robotic and unnatural way.
Lifting it over. We'll try cutting inside here. Chance!
And like my through passes, theirs were also tighter and passed closer to my defenders, giving their strikers more space than they used to have.
Nicely measured pass.
I also noticed that when I pressured them, they were less likely to kick the ball out, probably because they have more options on manual. So to sum up, switching to manual was easily the best and biggest upgrade I've done to transform my gaming experience in this past decade of playing PES.
But the level of expectation is also very, very high. These supporters who goes for goal!
So how do you switch to manual passing? At the side select screen, press the X to edit personal data, then set your pass support level to off. And that's it. It'll be a fair contest since the AI will also struggle a little with its manual passing, but you'll enjoy a way more rewarding experience and new animations as you attempt to distribute the ball to places you've never considered before. And as a huge plus, you'll be able to cross into the box from literally anywhere on the pitch.
Crosses one. Great lead!
At the moment, I'm never going back to regular passing, and since I'm quite frustrated with advanced shooting, maybe I'll switch to manual shooting soon.
Now it's Benzema. Benzema has a goal!
Although the learning curve seems way steeper from manual shooting. I mean, this here is my closest shot on target on day one.
Gets into the right position to intercept. He's in space and looking for options. Chance!
So anyway, make the transition to full manual passing now, and trust me, you do not want to delay the transition any longer. See you in the next one.
Looks to Bale! He scored!
Well, this guy is just not your average footballer. Alert,